3 months ago, I fired my two junior developers. Not because they were bad, they were actually solid. I fired them because I wanted to run an experiment. What if I replace them entirely with AI agents? Claude for architecture decisions, GPT-4 for code generation, specialized agents for testing and documentation. I gave myself 90 days and one rule. Every task that would have gone to a junior dev goes to an AI instead. The results? Let's just say I owe one of those developers an apology and a job offer. But probably not for the reasons you're thinking. Here's the context. I run a B2B SaaS startup. About 40,000 lines of TypeScript, React frontend, Node backend, PostgreSQL database. Nothing exotic. Before the experiment, my two junior devs handled bug fixes, simple features, code reviews for each other, and documentation. They cost me roughly $12,000 per month combined, including benefits and overhead. My hypothesis was simple. AI agents could do 80% of their work at 10% of the cost? I was wrong, but not in the direction you'd expect. My AI stack looked like this. Claude 3.5 Sonnet as the primary coding agent. It handled most feature work and had the best understanding of our codebase context. GPT-4 Turbo for code review and catching edge cases Claude missed. GitHub Copilot stayed on for autocomplete during my own coding sessions, and I built a custom RAG pipeline that indexed our entire codebase. So every AI query included relevant context. Total monthly cost for API calls and tooling, around $800. That's a 93% cost reduction on paper. The key insight from week 1. AI agents aren't employees you give vague instructions to. They're tools that need precise specifications. I created a task template that every AI request had to follow. Context about the code base, the specific file paths involved, acceptance criteria written as testable statements, and explicit constraints like do not modify the authentication flow. Without this structure, I got garbage. With it, I got surprisingly competent code. The first week was incredible. I threw 10 bug tickets at Claude. The kind of stuff that would take a junior dev half a day each. Simple fixes like pagination breaks on the last page or date picker doesn't respect time zone. Claude solved 8 of them in under 10 minutes each. The code was clean, followed our patterns, and passed our test suite. I genuinely thought I had cracked something. Then week 2 happened. Week 2. I asked Claude to add a feature, bulk update pricing for multiple products. Simple keyword operation, right? Claude generated the code, it passed all tests, I merged it. 3 days later, a customer reports their pricing data is wrong. Turns out, Claude's implementation had a race condition. When two bulk updates happened simultaneously, prices got assigned to wrong products. The code looked perfect. It even had comments explaining the logic. But Claude had no concept of our concurrent user patterns. A junior dev would have asked, "Hey, what happens if two people do this at once?" Claude just didn't. Here's the fix. Wrapping everything in a database transaction with proper locking. This isn't complex code. Any mid-level developer would write this instinctively. But when I asked Claude to fix the race condition, its first attempt was to add a JavaScript mutex, client-side locking for a server-side database problem. It took 3 more prompts to get the correct solution. A junior dev might have made the same initial mistake, but they'd learn from the code review. Claude makes the same category of mistake every single time, unless you explicitly prevent it. After 8 weeks, I catalogued every AI failure. They fell into 4 categories. First, concurrency and state management. AI doesn't intuit how users actually interact with systems. Second, security edge cases. Claude once generated an API endpoint that allowed any user to query any other user's data because I didn't explicitly say add authorization. Third, performance at scale. Code that works for 100 records but melts at 100,000. Fourth, integration gotchas. AI doesn't know that our Stripe webhook handler has a 30-second timeout. These aren't code quality issues, they're context issues. But here's the thing. AI wasn't all disasters. For certain task types, it was genuinely superhuman. Documentation? Claude generated better JS doc comments than any developer I've worked with. Test writing? Give it a function and ask for edge case tests. It found cases I wouldn't have thought of. Boilerplate code? A new API endpoint with full TypeScript types, validation, error handling, done in 2 minutes instead of 30. And refactoring? I showed Claude a 400-line component and asked it to extract reusable hooks. The result was cleaner than I would have written. Let me show you the test generation in action. This is a real function from our codebase. Calculates subscription pricing based on user count and billing cycle. I gave Claude the function and said, write comprehensive tests. Look at what it produced. Boundary conditions at 0 and 1, the tier thresholds, floating point edge cases, annual versus monthly comparison, and even a property-based test for pricing consistency. It found a bug in my original implementation through its tests. Annual billing was 0.3% more expensive than 12 months of monthly, which violated our pricing promise. Let's talk money. My API costs over the 3 months, $2,147. Sounds great compared to $36 for junior devs. But here's what that number hides. I spent roughly 15 extra hours per week managing AI output, reviewing, reprompting, fixing. At my hourly rate, that's $18,000 of my time. When AI code caused the data corruption incident, the customer churn cost us about $4,000 in lost revenue. And the productivity gain I expected? It was real, but it was maybe 40%, not 400%. The actual cost comparison is much closer than the API bill suggests. Here's the problem nobody talks about. Who reviews the AI's code? When junior devs write code, senior devs review it. When AI writes code, senior devs still have to review it. But there's no learning curve reduction. A junior dev who gets feedback on a race condition won't make that exact mistake again. Claude will make it every time unless you encode the constraint into your prompts. I ended up building a checklist system. Before any AI code could be merged, it had to pass through automated checks for our most common AI failure patterns. This helped, but it added overhead. Month 2, I realized something uncomfortable. Junior developers aren't just cheaper labor. They're the pipeline for your future mid-level and senior engineers. When I replaced them with AI, I wasn't just cutting costs, I was cutting off the talent development funnel. In 3 months, an AI agent learned nothing. It didn't get better at understanding our codebase. It didn't start anticipating our patterns. It didn't grow into someone who could eventually replace me. I was trading short-term efficiency for long-term organizational capability. By month 3, I'd figured out the actual answer. It's not AI replacing juniors. It's AI augmenting juniors. I hired back one of the developers I let go. Marcus, if you're watching, sorry about the experiment. And we built a new workflow. Marcus uses AI as a first draft generator. He prompts Claude, reviews the output, fixes the issues, and learns why Claude made those mistakes. His velocity is up 60% compared to before. The code quality is higher because he catches AI errors. And he's learning faster because he's seeing both good and bad patterns at high volume. The key enabler was building a prompt library. Instead of Marcus writing prompts from scratch, we built templates that encode our architectural decisions, security requirements, and common gotchas. Watch this. He runs a CLI command, selects new API endpoint, fills in the entity name and fields, and out comes a prompt that includes our auth patterns, our error handling conventions, our testing requirements, and explicit constraints against our known AI failure modes. The AI output isn't perfect, but it's consistently 80% there instead of randomly varying between 40% and 95%. Here are the final numbers from 3 months. Pure AI replacement. 34% of pull requests needed significant fixes. We had one customer impacting incident, and my own productivity dropped because I became a full-time AI babysitter. Hybrid model with Marcus. 12% of PRs need fixes, 0 incidents in 6 weeks. Marcus's output is higher than 2 junior devs pre-AI, and I'm back to doing actual architecture work. The ROI is real, but it requires the human in the loop. The AI is the power tool. The developer is still the craftsman. If you're a junior developer watching this, you're not getting replaced. You're getting superpowered. The developers who thrive in the AI era won't be the ones who ignore these tools or the ones who blindly trust them. They'll be the ones who understand both the capabilities and the failure modes. Learn to prompt effectively. Learn to spot AI mistakes. They follow patterns. And focus on the skills AI can't replicate. Understanding user needs, designing systems that handle real-world chaos, and making judgment calls about trade-offs. Those are the skills that compound. So, what actually happened when I replaced my junior dev team with AI? I learned that the question was wrong. It's not about replacement. It's about reconfiguration. AI agents are genuinely powerful, but they're not autonomous workers. They're amplifiers. Point them at the right tasks with the right constraints, paired with human judgment, and you get something better than either alone. The teams that figure this out first will build faster, with higher quality, and develop their people more effectively. That's the real competitive advantage. Let's recap the 3 things you learned today. First, AI agents can handle 80% of routine coding tasks, but they fail predictably on concurrency, security, scale, and integration. The context-heavy stuff. Second, the real cost of AI isn't the API bill. It's the review time, the incidents, and the lost learning opportunity. Third, the winning model is hybrid. AI as a first draft generator, humans as the judgment layer, with encoded constraints that prevent known failure patterns. Next up, watch our video on building production-ready AI agents, where we dive deep into the technical architecture of reliable AI coding assistants. If you found this useful, subscribe to Sucrid Learn Hub. We release weekly deep dives into AI engineering for developers who want to build, not just consume. Drop a comment. Have you tried using AI agents in your workflow? What worked? What didn't? I read every comment.